Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Rav Shiva. How y'all doing? I hope everybody's doing well. Well, if you remember, man, that was a strange day. You know, when the Canadian wildfires, the smoke came over here. Uh, that was pretty intense. I know a lot of people were in the beginning. We didn't know what it was. I'm here in New York, in Brooklyn, so could smell this burning, and I kept thinking something inside was on fire. Uh, it was really strange, man. Hold on. Yeah, it was really strange, and I couldn't figure it out. I sat there and I said to myself, well, I have to watch the news and find out what's going on here. And then, as we know, uh, I guess it was the 7th of June, I believe. I think that was Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, and that was the day that we kind of got this like message from God. I want to say. I mean, the reason I say message from God is because that was some scary shit. I'm not gonna lie, that was some very scary shit. You have to ask yourself. I'll go into it in a little bit. I'm going to get into it a little bit because let me not go ahead of myself here. But I'll just let you guys know they censored my video worldwide. I don't know if I have the screenshot here, but if I do, I can show you the main video that I started making, connecting all the dots. They didn't give me an explanation of. They said it was something copyrighted, but I used the exact same videos for other videos. They never took it out. But as soon as I started connecting the dots, and I made connections, they said it was a copyright violation, and they censored it worldwide. That should tell you something, guys. We know who's in control of the media, so you know who's doing what there. All right. So, without further ado, as they say, that's like a French word, isn't it? Adieu. Let's move forward. I'm going to show you something pretty cool. I hope you guys really appreciate this, and I want you to really think about it too, as well. Uh, think about what you're seeing here, man. It's very strange stuff.
Turn red, and this is because of particles from Canada's wildfire.
Yeah, the wildfires are still raging up there in Canada.
And that's the moon that was over Penn's Landing.
Mm-hmm. Did you see it? Blood moon.
The werewolves are out.
Blood moon.
But again, caused by the wildfires, right, Sue?
That's correct, because normally when we talk about a blood moon, it's because of a lunar eclipse, but this was a different story altogether with that smoke.
Normally, when we talk about a blood moon, it's because of a lunar eclipse, but this was a different story altogether. And I'll tell you how different that was. People just don't understand the significance of how different that was and why it's very significant. I'll tell you, I did some research here, and I think when you guys see this for yourself, it's going to make more sense, unless we know who tries to, filter everything and get rid of it. But if not, then you get to see it for yourself. But here's why I think it's important. I've been doing a lot of research. If you can see here, Acts 2:20, the sun shall be turned into darkness, which it did, and the moon into blood, until the great and awesome day of the Lord, who they call Jehovah, which is Yeshua, HaMashiach, the Messiah, Christ, will come. I'm just going to tell you, I don't call myself a Christian, Jew, Hindu, or Muslim. I like all of them, and I try to abide by the same rules, unless you get me into the wrong one, and disrespect me in some way. Then I go by Satan's rules. No, I'm just kidding, guys. That's a joke. I know I'm a joker. Remember that? I like to joke. And then I go, well, the Joker's also in the Bible. Look, guys, just relax, okay? I'm a content creator, but listen to the points I'm making here. I wouldn't be saying this if I didn't believe something of it. And if you look here at Joel 2:31, the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great notable day of the Lord. Acts 2:29-33, 36. Peter urges his fellow Israelites, his Jewish audience, to recognize Jesus as the Messiah, the one prophesied in Psalms attributed to David. Now, I want to say that there are different types of Jews out there. The original Jews, have the Kohanim gene. Those Jews originally are the original Jews that carry the oldest known Kohanim gene. That's a genetic thing. There are other types of Jews that somehow got into the mix from the DNA because of the migration of people across the lands. And somehow, if you look at the world, the people that are more Caucasoid looking seem to take over people's lands, just like here in America. Same thing that happened here to the darker skinned races. And I'm not saying this to point fingers at anyone, and I'm just saying this is a real reality. It's a real fact. Just like what happened here, if you look at Palestine and Israel, darker skinned people, lighter skinned people are ruling. I don't know what that's about. I'm just making a question here, and I'm asking, what do you guys think it is? Is it something racism? Is there something to that? I'm just asking the question. I'm posing it to you guys. You don't have to look at it. You don't have to, you try to be intelligent about it and look at the speculation I'm making. I'm not saying that good or bad or anything. I'm saying just look at it for what it is. What is it? That's all I'm asking. But anyway, if you look at it, look at this, Acts 2:20. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood until the great and awesome day of the Lord, Yeshua is what they mean here, will come. All right, Yeshua is who they call Jesus, which is the wrong name. Jesus actually is Jesus, which is representative of Zeus. Jesus. People need to get that straight. If you were around in Christ's time and you said, "Hi, Jesus," and Christ turned around, he would look at you. Are you speaking to me? That's not my name. My name is Yeshua. Completely different sound. Yeshua is not Jesus. That's Zeus. It's even spelled just like Zeus in some way. And people are just continuously praying to Zeus, and they don't realize it. I know that sound is very important because I use it. I use it in my prayer and mantra. We learned that in India. And I'm going to break down also something for you. I can just look it up right here, guys, and we'll look it up together. Everybody's asking about the swastika, right? And I hate to say this, but because of the Caucasoid people using it and pretty much defacing it, devaluing it to some bullshit or another, people don't realize that this is representative of the exact same thing that Christ was talking about as well. So in Hinduism, the right-facing symbol clockwise is called swastika, symbolizing Surya, the sun. Okay, prosperity and good luck, while the left-facing symbol counterclockwise is called swastika, symbolizing night or tantric aspects of Kali. Nothing good or bad. It's like light and day, night and day. That's all it is. These are dual aspects of nature. These are dual aspects of the universe. They now know that there's dark matter in the universe, guys, and there are suns that light up the sky, but it doesn't penetrate the darkness. It bends around the darkness. That tells you that the more dominant force out there is the darkness in the sky. For many years, but they both work in harmony to create life. Both of them. They both work harmonically to create life. And a lot of things have been twisted throughout the years, so a lot of people are very misconstrued. They don't know what's going on. It's a really sad situation in the world where people can't understand what's happening around them. I mean, you have interesting things like this. They have the news about a blood moon, which only happens during a lunar eclipse, and she even said it herself. They didn't know why. The other thing I want you to think about here is if you're watching this, if YouTube's allowing you to watch it, because they'll pull me right out of the algorithm and censor me like usual. But I don't really care, But here, on that day, June 7th, take a look at this, guys. I want you to take a real close look at this, and we're going to watch it together. Whoa. Sorry about that. Whoa. Hazardous levels, deadly levels is what they meant to say. Remember, it's 485. The top level is 500, guys. We hit the worst that you could hit ever in the world on that day. New York City alone, out of the entire globe. Again, I'm going to say that if you don't understand the significance of why I'm pointing this out, is that, think about it, use the laws of physics, use science to isolate one city out of this entire globe, and for all of that accumulation of all the bad stuff in the air coming onto the city, this is like modern day Sodom and Gomorrah or Babylon. God has pointed the finger, gave direct signs in the Bible. There will be a blood moon, a dark sun, and you'll know the city of sin. We know the city of sin. That's why in every prayer that I make now, I used to pray for good things, but certain people have me on a different path. I keep telling them that, yes, they call me Edmund, which means demon. They've got it wrong. That's a degradation to who I am. They can only fathom and understand certain things, these people that are calling me that, but they've seen my signs. They won't tell anyone, and they're trying to hide it from the world. I did light the sky up with fire in my prediction. Not me, myself, but I did say it before it happened. If you go to Facebook.com, The Spiritual Philanthropist, you will see that prediction there. There were others, but they took them down. They might have taken this one down as well, but I took screenshots of everything, so I have them, unless they get into my computer and erase it. They just don't want you to know that there are things out there in the world that exist. There were people that were oracles back in the day that could see things ahead of time. They were very, very important. Oracles and other things, types of people exist today as well. You'll know that you're one of them when this world hates you and this world goes against you. You'll know that. Every little mistake you make, they're going to try to kill you for it and destroy you and torture you for it. That's how this world works, guys. It was still spoken about in the Bible what this world is. You have people out there going around preaching Christianity. I don't preach Christianity. Christianity never existed. When Christ was alive, he preached one thing, and it wasn't Christianity what they're preaching today. It's the reason that the things happened the way that it did. That's my beliefs. Everybody can believe what they want, but I go back to the ancient Sumerian texts as well, where a lot of these same things that you see in the modern day Bibles or in the present day Bibles all come from. They've all originated from. There's so many things that I can go over with you guys, and it just blows my mind. Okay, now you guys know about the Las Vegas aliens, right? You heard about the Las Vegas aliens. That's something that really blew my mind, because they're pushing this more and more in the media. They're talking about it. And I think it really, really is something that we really need to take a look at, guys, because there's something to this. I think there's very much something to this, and people aren't really paying attention. But I want you guys to really see this, and I want you to see it for yourself. You make an assessment, and you tell me what it is that you see.
It's a scene straight out of the X-Files. A family in Las Vegas insisting something is out there after allegedly having a close encounter of the third kind.
I swear to God, this is not a joke.
One witness calling 911 after they say an object fell out of the sky and landed in their backyard.
They're like 9 foot, 10 foot tall. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes, they have big eyes.
The mysterious object that fell from the sky, even the officers apparently saw that. The green glow of the alleged UFO is seen on this newly released body camera footage.
I have butterflies, bro. Everyone saw a shooting star, then these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
So when that 911 call came in,
I'm getting goosebumps.
an hour later, police were ready to believe it.
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
Because I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard? Or?
But after a brief investigation of the yard, officers closed the case as unfounded.
If those 9 foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
According to former intelligence officer David Grush, an alien crash landing isn't too far-fetched. Grush recently turned over documents to Congress claiming the U.S. government has a vast collection of vehicles that have non-human origin.
And if you remember Bob Lazar from the 1980s, Bob Lazar said the exact same thing, that they were working on UFOs. They were on parts. They were reverse engineering all these UFOs, guys. And this is something that people aren't really paying attention in some way or another. I don't think people are taking it seriously, but there is something to this. Okay, I want you guys to take a close look at it.
I told you last night we went out to dinner. I've seen pretty much every interview you've ever given. I've followed the story incredibly closely. But for people who don't know the story, let's give them the bullet points. You used to work at Area 51. And Area 51, you went like, huh?
Well, we want to be accurate.
Okay.
Area S4.
S4.
I just want to say I've seen that guy since I was a kid, because back in the 80s this happened, and he hasn't changed much. It's funny. But I always thought he was credible for some reason, no matter what happened in his life, because he had some things happen in his life, but I always thought he was credible. He's a scientist.
Okay.
It's about 15 miles south of Area 51.
Okay.
But
you worked in how would you describe it?
I guess within the Area 51 compound. You can call that a subset of Area 51.
And you got that job. Before that, you were working...
Before that, I had worked at Los Alamos
Right.
National Labs in New Mexico.
And you were involved in what kind of work?
Nuclear weapon development, physics. I mean,
So, okay, that's some heavy stuff. Nuclear weapon development and physics. And you have to think that they tried to debunk this guy. People are still trying to debunk this guy, but he is working now with his own science lab.
do everything there.
So how do they approach you to say, hey, Bob, why don't you come on out to the Nevada desert?
Well, the way this went down was, at that time, it was 1982, I had put a jet engine in my Honda, and Los Alamos put it on the front page of the paper. It said, Los Alamos man, physicist at the lab, built this 200-mile-an-hour, Honda jet car that I drove to work every day. So I was known in Los Alamos, the guy with the weird car, and you could hear it from a mile away. Anyway, the day that came out on the front page of the paper was the day Edward Teller, the father of the hydrogen bomb, was giving a lecture down there at the lab. And we didn't have much going on that day in our group, and I asked if I could go down there. And I went down there early, and Ed Teller was outside, leaning on a brick wall there and reading the front page of the paper. Now, this is a guy out of history, so I introduced myself. Hey, I'm the guy you're reading about there. And we talked for a little while, and it was cool. Fast forward to years later, I had moved out to Las Vegas and had, left Los Alamos and, went on to other things.
Interesting point, really fast. Las Vegas, a lot of weird shit goes on.
And I wanted to get back
what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I'm just kidding.
Into the scientific community. I left to start other businesses and that sort of thing. So I sent resumes out, and one of them went out to Ed Teller and referenced our meeting, back in the day. And anyway, he remembered me and gave me a reference, somebody to contact at EG&G. And that's pretty much how it started.
So you get a phone call or a letter? Like, what do you get?
Well, I got what did I get? I got a letter initially and went down for an interview probably a couple times. And it was down at EG&G Special Projects, which was at McCarran Airport at that time out in Las Vegas.
And did they give you any sort of job description of what you were applying for?
They said it was for I can't remember exactly what they did. This was a long time ago, but I think it was advanced propulsion or something like that.
Well, that's interesting because he had the car that had a rocket engine on it or something crazy like this. So that would make sense. They knew he had capability of, messing with these things. And a type of mind that he has to create that on his own with nobody telling him what to do would be the perfect mind to be able to reverse engineer something.
Relatively generic, and they said it's in a remote area. It's going to be some days on, some days off, and it was kind of not exactly a full-time job, but you might have to be out there for 2 weeks at a time and take 2 weeks off. So it was kind of the work schedule would be kind of broken up.
And did this seem attractive to you, or did it seem weird?
No, it really wasn't weird, because people that work at the test site, anybody that's familiar with the area up there, working at the nuclear test site or at the Tonopah test range north of there, that's typically how things go.
So you had known about it from the scientific community? Because Area 51 at that time was
No, they didn't say anything about
classified.
Area 51.
Okay, so
they just said it was in a remote location, and you just know it was up at the test site.
Right.
So, but there was no mention of Area 51.
Wow, so they kept very vague about everything, obviously. And if you want something that's top secret, of course, you won't know until you get there type of thing, So it's on a need-to-know basis, time-wise. I guess, that would make sense,
That time.
So they've done hundreds of nuclear tests in Nevada. That whole area there's giant chunks of Nevada that people.
Yeah, there's a big piece of Nevada, and it's split up into different areas. There's a nuclear test site. There's Area 51. There's the Tonopah test range north of that. There's little sub areas. There's areas where they test chemical weapons and things like that. So it's all broken up as a gigantic test area.
So take me back to first day on the job. You accept a job. They take you out there.
Yeah, it's the first day. Really, I didn't really get to see a whole lot. The first day was essentially just paperwork. That's when I flew into Area 51 proper, and I left McCarran Airport and flew what they call the Janet flights, just a passenger plane from Las Vegas to Area 51, and it was really just going through a mountain of paperwork that day. From security clearances to...
I'm sorry to interject here, guys, but I just thought about the idea of them naming something Area 51. There must be... The reason they must have chose that place, for one, was obviously it was desolate and hard to get to. But also, when you name something that has an unknown factor to it, you don't really give a name to it. You give it's like a geotag, a geolocation tag of some sort. Well, this is Area 51, so they must have broken everything down into grids of some sort, and that, for some reason, that one specific area, I wonder why. It's interesting. Maybe they found something there that it didn't want to move, and they just built around it. But anyway, let's go.
God, it was like 2 or 3 hours of just solid paperwork, and that was really an uneventful first day.
Wow. So, guys, if you want to finish watching that podcast, Bob Lazar explains the story of Joe Rogan. Okay, and you can see the entire podcast there. I love watching Joe Rogan. He's amazing. He's got a lot of great things on here, things that he speaks about, and he gets away with a lot of stuff that most people can't, which, thank God, that you have somebody doing it. As I said, if you connect the dots, you look at these things correctly, you'll see that there's an amalgamation of something that's forming, and they're trying to prevent people from putting these dots together, I assume, because of people like me and other people just like me that are doing the same thing, and they're all getting censored. Mine might be a little bit more personal between me and the people that are doing it to me, but like I said, the only thing that they have power over is illusion. I have power over reality. There's a difference. They have yet to learn, and we'll see. We'll see, guys. There's some other stuff here I want to show you. Some really cool stuff here, and I'm going to cap it off with this one. But let's take a look at this.
Now, the search for aliens has transcended beyond science fiction movies.
Wow, she's pretty.
Thousands of scientists are continuously trying to find clues of intelligent life forms across the vastness of the universe. But now, a new study says that the aliens could be sending us signals from the center of our very own Milky Way galaxy. We leave you with this report as we call it a wrap. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching Beyond World is One. Stay tuned.
The question of whether we are alone in the universe has captivated human curiosity for centuries. As we look up to the vast night sky, some of us often wonder, are there other intelligent life forms that exist beyond our planet?
I just want to say really fast that I think that if they get to a certain level of technology and intelligence or knowledge, that they'll be able to use a message just like a sort of way to filter out the type of people by the message that can be understood. They probably have different types of signals and messages that they probably send out, and depending on which one answers which one, who answers which one, they'll know the level to where we have developed, on the scale of intelligence by what we can decipher. That would only make sense. If they sent a message out, let's say that they have the ability of psychic intelligence, which I believe in since I was a child, but I've been shunned from childhood, and some reason they keep doing a lot of bad things to me, but it doesn't matter. They're on their way here as far as I'm concerned now, because I've gotten direct transmissions. I know I have. And if there's a higher intelligence, which I believe is just like what I have and other people here on the planet, which is a psychic intelligence, which works like the highest form of communication that we can have, because in that manner, you don't have to, distance will be nothing at that moment. Distance will be nothing. I don't know exactly how that we would accomplish this, but I know that in deep states of meditation, you can travel. Your body is limited to this space and time here. It was formed. I keep telling you, it's just a biological outfit. It's just like when astronauts use to get out into space so they can survive and breathe. Our outfits were specifically made for this reality here. Okay? I'll get into that and some other deep stuff I can say with that, but I'm not going to. All I can say is that what they call an alien signal, they'll know there's some people that are just receiving it on a level that they are in science and can only decode that message there, or at least see it and acknowledge it. But then there are other people who get full messages. And I'm not talking about these crazy, I don't know if they're crazy, but there are other people out there claiming the same thing. I don't know if it's real or if it's ploys or what it is, but I can tell you that you don't see too many dark-skinned people on this planet getting to say what they feel about this. Billy Carson's the only black man in that whole community of UFOs. I've never seen anybody else but him. You have to ask yourself. I keep saying, the only reason I'm asking is more of, the white man and the white people are bad. No, it's not. It's like, hey, what about me? It's more of wanting inclusion, If this is something that's beyond racial identity and things like that, then why is it only a conglomeration of white people? Are they the only ones that are, privy to this stuff? And you have to ask that question. Why is it like that? You have to put all things into consideration to try and figure this out. And now I'm telling you, since I was a child, I've been going through these things, and I've been completely unacknowledged. If you want to talk about unacknowledged, I forgot what his name is, Greer or something like that. He had that movie called Unacknowledged. Talk about us, the ones that are people of color here on this planet that go through these things. They should make a movie about us called Unacknowledged, because we don't have close encounters of the third kind. We don't see UFOs. We don't have anything. They don't put anything up about us, But yet, my culture, where I come from, where I was born, everything about it speaks of otherworldly, beings and civilizations. So I just want to put that out there as a way to say, hey guys, look at us, include us into it. And then the Indians from India are just as dumb sometimes too, because they also exclude anybody outside from India because they follow the caste system in their mentality. So, we're working through a really hard place here. And it's for what I'm trying to do is say that everyone on this planet, we have the ability to do these things, to be able to have these things happen. But for some reason, they exclusively want to only show and represent one. We have to change that, guys, and things have to open up for everybody. But let's go back to the signal again here.
Since the universe burst into existence after the Big Bang 13.8 billion years ago, the cosmos has been expanding. The observable universe is 92 billion light years in diameter. It's simply mind-boggling. But let's look at our
Hold on a second, guys.
92 billion light years in diameter. It's simply mind.
He said 92 billion light years, not years. 92 billion light years. So he's using distance and diameter. Meaning if you're traveling at light speed on the diameter of the space that you've traveled, I guess would be the entire diameter of the universe. It would take 186,000 miles per second at that speed, 92 billion light years. At that speed, at light speed, it would be 92 billion years at light speed. I can't even begin to think what that would be. I'm telling you, there's something to this, guys. Distance should not matter. Only matters because we're caught up in these biological outfits, and that's all we think that there is. When you get into meditation, you'll learn there's something much, much more expansive in us, within us, and you'll learn once you start meditating.
Boggling. But let's look at our cosmic neighborhood, our own galaxy, the Milky Way. The answer to the eternal question, are we alone in the universe, could be much closer to home, well, quite literally. In a quest to find extraterrestrial life, astronomers are paying close attention to the radio pulses emanating the core of our galaxy. Stars known as pulsars naturally emit narrow-frequency pulses, but humans also use them deliberately in technologies such as radars. Since these pulses have the capability to stand out against the space's background radio noise, they are likely to be an effective way to communicate at such long distances. Hence, scientists have considered them as a good option to listen to while they hunt for alien civilizations.
And then again, I bring up the idea of they probably send out different types of intelligences out there. Species that are of higher intelligence will send out different types of signals. Maybe at the development of where we're at as a human species is only these frequencies that they can send out. But there are some of us here, like myself, that I believe that we get direct transmissions. I do believe this.
This is according to a study reported in the Astronomical Journal, where researchers suggest that signals coming from the Milky Way's core may be evidence of the presence of intelligent alien life. So if aliens are attempting to communicate, it is possible that the clues lie within the core of the Milky Way. Scientists continue to focus their efforts on this area, diligently searching for any sign of an intelligent message sent from the vast expanse of space.
Guys, this stuff is really mind-boggling, Again, like I said, I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to censor me or what's going to happen, but I get messed with a lot by the powers that be, I believe, because I do have a lot of stuff that I do, and a lot of stuff that from childhood that I experienced, that every time I put it up here, it gets no views. I'm talking about 15 years worth of putting stuff up. And I'm not complaining in the sense that, my ego is hurt. I'm saying it's unfair when only certain people, their messages get across and your message for somehow is being filtered. You have to ask yourself, why is it being filtered? And this is what I tell you. Even now, I look at see there's still zero views here. And I've been on here for 34 minutes and 18 seconds. So you have to ask yourself, if anybody can see this, please give me some kind of idea or understanding that you have about this, if you think it's fair or not. I'm going to keep doing what I do regardless. They have no choice. They're going to eventually have to see the reality, not the illusions or deceptions that they do, but the reality of what is actually possible. I don't come here with peace. I come here with a message of war. And these beings here on this planet will have to answer. All of them, every single one of us that are here, the inhabitants. It's been written, and it's been said multiple times, guys. If you look at the books themselves, if you look at everything there, you'll see it yourself. You'll see what it says. This is just one book Acts 2:20, the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood until the great and awesome day of the Lord Yeshua will come. He's not coming back to give anybody hugs, to pat them on the back, but his mouth will be like a sword. Everything he says will come to pass. Joel 2:31, the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and notable day of the Lord. Acts 2:29-33-36, Peter urges his fellow Israelites, his Jewish audience, to recognize Yeshua as the Messiah, HaMashiach, the one prophesied in Psalms attributed to David. Take that into consideration, guys. There is something going on here. We know there is. And they're hiding it from you. They're not telling you exactly what's happening. And it's a sad thing. You know, this is the world we live in. But all these deceptions are going to come to an end. They're starting to fall to the wayside now. They can only fool us for so long. You know? But reality will check you. You know? All I want to say is Hari Om to everybody in this world. That was the words given to me before these things started, and I'm giving it to you, Hari Om. We'll see a hell of a lot more. I'm going to keep doing the videos on the transmissions. They keep censoring it, but once I start doing more interviews with people and they get it on video, they can't censor everybody. They can't stop everybody from getting it that way. They'd have to shut themselves down. So guys, see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this segment. And please try to understand, I'm speaking from a place of love, honesty, acceptance, and trying to unite everyone, not separate. They're about separation is what these people are. We have to get away from that if we are to survive what's coming. Alright guys, see you in the next video. Much love, much respect, much happiness. Alright, be safe guys.